Bants or bullying, bants or bullying. We're playing a game called Bants or bullying, bants or bullying, bants or bullying. It's rarely bants, it's usually bullying. Right, so good evening to anybody who's watching. I am doing my second game of Rune. I've played a couple of throwaway games since the last one, which is on YouTube somewhere, without a Twitch stream, and now I have my Kickstarter was fulfilled at 4 o'clock this afternoon. I got the Rune Atlas and the PDF for the rulebook, which is excellent. There have been a couple of rules changes from last time, which are fine. The two biggest ones that I've been able to identify is that difficult terrain now penalises you by making it harder for you to hurt people rather than movement restrictions. The reason for which was that the game is about tactical movement and the difficult terrain was a problem. I'm not sure I entirely buy that. What is a good idea? Hello. We actually have some people. Hello. I think that is Gary and Mike come to write his fan fiction about boatmen in real time, no doubt. I was just going through from last time we played. There's been 2 rules changes that seem relevant. 3, actually. I've just remembered another one. Difficult terrain is now about making it harder to hurt people rather than harder to move. You start with a rune, so I'll need to pick one of those to start with. And you can run away now, which is interesting, because previously all the fights were to the death. But having played some Elden Ring now, I can see the value in running away from fights a lot, possibly on horseback. And I was just going through the runes and deciding which one to pick to go with the rune I won in the last game we played, which was the Deathless rune, taken from the Ruined King, who we beat up on the Grim Coast. Running away is good. It's big, it's clever, and from what I've read on the rules for this particular realm, it is an excellent tactic. But I'll get to that when we take a look at the realm rules for the Fell Wood. There are 6, I think it was it 7 realms in the Rune Atlas, and there's quite a nice little summary at the start. So I read through that, and I decided to try out the Fell Woods. The taint of runic influence hangs heavy in the air. Horrors lurk between the trees of the Fell Woods. The people of this realm look battered and broken, but resilient. Perhaps there is a chance to mend their fate along with yours, or perhaps your bones will fill a beast's belly. And it just seemed an appropriate place to take a nameless orc with an axe shield and a couple of bits of treasure. So I have the sun-scorched ring, which we claimed in the last realm from a particularly nasty fight on top of a cliff, and it was a lot of trouble to get hold of it that resulted in both myself and the knight plunging to our deaths from the cliff top simultaneously. But luckily I came back to life and the knight didn't. And I've also got my strider boots from last time, and because this is the second realm I'm playing, as I understand it, I get to take any gear that I won, or weapons, in the last realm, plus the stuff I started out with, and the rune that we claimed. But on top of that, when you make a new character now, you get to pick one of the 4 basic starting runes, which are what makes you into an thing. Yeah, I've forgotten what my own character type is. Lol. And engraved, that's right. There's a lot more flavour text and things in the rulebook now than there was in the quick starter. All about how the world of Oberon is shattered by cosmic bad guys, and how Rune Lords arrive, and then how the engraved go around killing Rune Lords and taking their runes, which is what we did to the Rune King. So I'm just deciding between Fate's Fury. Once per fight, you may use a weapon twice in a single round. Fate's Hunter, whenever you kill a unique enemy, regain all of your health. Fate's Foe, +2 health. My natural defensive mindset is telling me to take +2 health. Dave has just turned up and is telling me I should go say goodbye to the boatman. Obviously, if I go and say goodbye to the boatman, then there won't be a tragic quest across the realms to try and reunite with the ghostly boatman. Or Fate Breaker. You may re-roll any ones in a fight if you do lose 2 health. And I've got to say, of the 4 of them, it's either +2 health or once a fight use a weapon twice. And frankly, as a massive coward, I'm very much erring towards Fate's Foe. Their blood runs through your veins, giving you extra vitality. Because extra vitality is always good, isn't it? Double attack, says David. Yes, I could, but I feel I'd be playing into orcish stereotypes if I take the obvious berserker move. Their ruthlessness was passed down to you, a god's fury. There you go. Yeah, okay, it's all very well yelling Loktar, Dave. It's not going to convince me. It might convince me. Right, I'm dumping Fate's Hunter. I don't think getting all your health back from fighting unique enemies is as valuable. You may reroll ones in a fight if you do lose 2 health. Losing health is a disaster. Actually, that's not entirely true. When you die, you come back again. But you always suffer a penalty. So not dying is my aim. No, Mike, I did not say goodbye to the boatman, because you can't have a tragic quest across the many shattered wells of Oberon if you say goodbye to the boatman, can you? That'd be madness. So, Fate's Foe, Fate's Fury. The right choice is the extra health. Does anybody else want to weigh in on extra health that will help me survive fights, or Fate's Fury that will almost certainly allow me to give up the defensive abilities of the shield to whack somebody twice with a massive axe? When I say it out loud like that, mind, that does seem suddenly a lot more appealing. Yeah, screw it. I'm going to take Fate's Fury. I'm going to Consistency is better than randomness. Yeah, that is a good argument. I'm going to take Fate's Foe rather than Fate's Fury. I'm just going to adjust my little carrot sheet, my little character bar to 12 of 12. Yeah, randomness is not on my side very often. So, but I also have the Deathless rune, and I can have up to 3 runes equipped. I only have 2 at the minute, and you have to make the decision sort of before you enter the realm. The Deathless rune that we got from the Ruined King means that I ignore the first death penalty I take when exploring a realm. Every time you die in Rune, something bad happens. But, well, something happens, and what it is depends entirely on the realm you're exploring. But the first time, I won't take a death penalty, and that is good. I'm also carrying my Sun-Scorched Ring, which came in quite useful against the Ruined King. Fire magic was declared forbidden in the Grim Coast just before the dead took the keep. The bearer of this ring is a traitor to the realm. And given I killed the king, I think it's fairly legitimate to say that I am a traitor to that particular realm. But it lets me do extra harm to the undead, which is nice. Although I don't get the impression that the Fell Woods is going to be particularly undead related. And of course I have my reliable Strider boots, which stood me in good stead at the Grim Coast. And engraved must wander. Even when their weapons hang heavy, their feet march forward relentlessly. So being able to move when you haven't rolled anything that would allow you to move is a major advantage. So I'll almost certainly be starting my fights with the Strider boots equipped. Now, having read through the rules again in a little bit more detail, I can change which gear I've got equipped between fights during the exploration phase. But once the fight starts, I'm locked into whatever setup I've got. At the minute, I still don't have a huge amount of gear. I know we didn't get everything from the Grim Coast. In In fact, the only thing we got from the Green Coast was the ring, and the rune. But anyway, having left the Grim Coast without saying a proper goodbye to the Spectral Boatman, which is very important to a very small number of people, we are travelling between the storm-separated islands of Oberon, the realms, and we are visiting Fellwoods. As I say, I picked this entirely based on its short paragraph description as being the kind of place that an orc with an axe might want to go and hang out. It is, from the map, a forest with 11 points, with 10 points to explore, and I've briefly skimmed over the realm runes. David is saying that striding boots with a sun-scorched ring. Nope, I can't think of any way to make a funny joke there. Well, you are literally the only person in the whole of Christendom who can't think of a way to make a funny joke there, David. And most of them turned up on my stream last time to make those jokes. So, every realm has clocks associated with it that basically provide time pressure for the most part. Fellwoods, interestingly, has got 2 clocks. The play clock advances as I make progress in my investigations. It's an 8-segment clock that I need to remember to mark whenever I move to a point or complete an action. That is going to fill up fairly quickly. When the play clock fills, one of the settlements in the Fellwoods is overwhelmed with beasts and considered lost. In addition, mark the siege clock. I rolled a d6 to work out which one of the points is lost. And it looks like the siege clock only increases when I fill in my play clock. So it is like it is a meta clock, like a big or small cogwheel. It's a 6-segment clock that tracks the arrival of the Rune Lord of the Realm and their assault upon Hartford. When the final segment is filled in, the engrave immediately returns to Hartford and begins the fight with the Rune Lord. Okay, so yes, that is true. That is a little hypocritical, Gary. Refusing to use orc meme actions, but going to places that orcs might like to hang out. I am a monster. But I've got an axe, and when you have an axe, you go to a forest. Them's just the rules. So in the Grim Coast, obviously, I had to try and find the Realm Lord and then decided when to fight him. This one appears to be a lot more time sensitive. Previously, on the Grim Coast, I could broadly just dick around. The clock there tracked day and night, but here I've got that clock filling up 6 times. Basically, pushes me into the final fight with the Rune Lord. So we'll need to keep an eye on that one. When a point is lost, the engraved can no longer complete any actions on that point. They can still travel to and through it. It may be possible to reclaim a lost point, though the engraved will have to find out how. I am just going to go and grab a little icon. Let me see, that'll do. So that I can stick it on my map when inevitably one of these points gets lost. Yeah, cool. That'll do me. Stick that up there. Situational optional fights. The Fellwoods are slowly being overwhelmed with terrifying beasts. Fights at some points only exist if the siege clock has been marked a number of times. When a fight is listed as situational, check the siege clock and the number of required marks, yada yada. So basically, that is something we saw in the Grim Coast. When a certain clock is a certain changes, what sort of things can happen at points. Boons. The many settlements can assist in the fight against the beasts. If you're able to reach and convince them, these boons come in a variety of forms. Some provide you with advantages against the Rune Lord. They're marked as sigil boons. Other boons take the form of consumable items or gear that will help me mess around in the Fellwoods. That's pretty straightforward. So it seems that basically my role, at least first, is to dash around the various towns and probably encounter subquests. Gary is mentioning that any fight in Hartford will probably start at the Six Templars. Is that a pub in the real Hartford? And then we've got some information about the Rune Lord. The Rune Lord seeks to destroy Hartford. There are two ways to begin the fight. First, when the siege clock is filled, the Rune Lord fight begins immediately regardless of where you are on the map. Second, you can initiate the fight prior to the siege clock filling. If you feel you are ready to the fight, you can do so at any point at Hartford. Oh, you can do so at any time at Hartford. So I need to be back at Hartford. Regardless of how you begin the fight, go through the pre-fight steps found on page 51. It is important to know, unlike many other realms, you may only attempt to fight the Rune Lord of the Fellwoods once. Choose wisely when to fight and prepare yourself. Should you fall, the Fellwoods fall with you, and you'll be forced to leave this realm and travel to a new one. Strike the Rune Lord down, and you will save this realm and receive its rune. So that's interesting. Apparently the Lord Hague might be the other place that fight might break out. I'll make a note of that. That when we encounter the Rune Lord, we'll be doing it at the Lord Hague or the Six Templars. And the death penalty. When you die, resurrect Sigil at full health. That's standard. The Rune Lord sees this moment of weakness and further prepares their assault. Mark the siege clock. Okay, so in the Grim Coast, I could die as many times as I liked, basically, as long as I was prepared to deal with the horrendous consequences of dying. Here, the actual consequences to my character are pretty minimal, but the consequences to the realm are pretty dire. Each death basically knocks me off from 8 move and action combos. So there we go. I have got the Atlas set up as a PDF on Roll20, and so rather than dicking around that like I did last time, jumping between pages, so we start at Hartford and Sigil. At Hartford, which is where the Sigil is, which is where my bonfire or Grace Point equivalent is. The city of Hartford is the largest settlement in the realm. The citizens appear nervous as rumours abound of people going missing and beasts prowling the woods. So, that is a settlement. And I can see a couple of other settlements marked on the map. 5, 10, 8, 9 and 7. And 2. So the majority of places here, in fact, are settlements. So, as with all sigils, I can rest here, recover my health, and unfortunately respawn any fights that aren't unique. And that would also count as an action, so I'd tick the play clock. I don't need to do it now because I'm at full health. There is a learn, there is a delve. I need to go to point 9 before I can do that. There's a delve that needs an item, and there's a delve that needs me to do the final fight. So, the only 2 things I can do here at the moment are rest or learn. So bugger. That was why. Bugger. I'd set them up as separate pages because I can't actually mark the PDF. So, I'm going to have to write it down on a bit of scrap paper. That's not ideal. I remember that for next time I'm streaming one of these and make them as pages or tokens or something. Anyway, so learn. I'm going to increase my lore by 1. That will mean ticking the play clock once already. And gaining 1 lore. Yeah. And learning. A missive reads that the Ranger of the Wood has not brought their report in nearly 2 weeks. Finding them is of great importance. Aha. Okay. So presumably an ally of some sort. A ranger. Obviously, I'm not going to say anything about rangers or how useful they might or might not be. But I anticipate that they won't be adding too much to a fight against the Realm Lord, because rangers are dreadful. And that is basically all I can do for the moment. As with the Grim Coast, I'm not going to read ahead or anything. So the obvious thing to do is to head south across the plains into the forest and visit the first village. If my aim here is to gain boons, then it seems obvious that I should go and hit the southern part of the realm first. David is suggesting that rangers will be fine if they're in their preferred terrain. Yeah, but the odds are that given this campaign is clearly taking place entirely in forests, the the Rangers' preferred terrain will turn out to be Arctic wastes. Although Scott is saying that is slander, I have played and run too many games with Rangers. I've just noticed that this little forest to the side of me here looks remarkably like a happy penis. There you go. So, I am moving one space down through the forest and visiting point 7. No doubt. Oh, apparently James says, yeah, it started, has it? My Ranger's favourite terrain is your mum. It is quite a happy piece, isn't it? You're sort of running along with a happy smile on his face. Anyway, 7. Point 7. The Berg, a small settlement nestled within the southern borders of the Fellwoods. The corpses of beasts surround the clearing, forming a perimeter of death around the town. Okay, that is not as welcoming as it could be. Right, fight optional. Under normal circumstances in Rune, if there's a fight available to you to take, you have to take it before you can take anything else. However, in this case, it's a special case, optional. This fight is optional and not required to complete the learn action below. You may stay and help repel the next wave against the Berg if you choose to do so. Well, obviously, as a happy orc hero, I'm going to step up and protect people. But before that, I'm going to take the learn action. Let's see what we get. Lore often unlocks stuff, so I'm keen to find out what's going on. Yes, Scott is pointing out that a circle of dead beasts around a town is not very good for tourism, and that is the case. Yes, definitely. Learn, increase lore by 1. While sharpening a blade, one member of the Berg recounts that the attacks have been more coordinated lately. The first waves threw themselves into the villagers' blades. Now they have more than a beast's mind. Okay, so something or someone is... for flip's sake. There's going to be a lot of that tonight. That's why I'd automated the round clock last time. Oh well. So on to Lore 2. We know that somebody is behind the beast attacks. I'm getting a feeling that this undead ring is not going to be very useful at all. But, you know, whatever. It's a memento of my time on the Grim Coast. Should we do the fight? Should we stay here and protect these people? Fight it is. Okay, so let's have a look. A bone-chilling whistle cuts through the air, and the sound of movement crashes all around the village. The villagers have already taken position, ready to push back the latest assault. So what do we have? We have some permanent terrain that can't be moved through, B2 and 3. Okay, so that's probably a wall or something similar. And there's also one at C3. Is that right? B2 and 3, C2. Okay. So actually, yes, it looks like some sort of barricade. I'm starting at C3. Yeah, looking a bit barricadey. And I'm going to need smashers, rippers, and stalkers. Oh. Okay. So what I've done, like I did last time, is I have created some little monster cards, which I'm just going to group up and copy across. And then I'll grab some little tokens for them. I am slightly worried that there appear to be 6 of them. 2 smashers, 2 rippers, and 2 stalkers. Okay. Let's see what we can find out about rippers and stalkers. Rippers, surprisingly nimble for their size. Their hands are ever soaked in blood. Smashers are the same. And stalkers, outlanders are taught early on to sleep with one eye open and a knife close by. So that is basically, it looks like bandits or barbarians or something. So I'm going to need 3 token types so I can differentiate them. 1, 2. Boo, 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 boo. Let me have a look. Yeah, let's do that. I'm remembering last time we had a fight with multiple opponents in it. It was the Necromancer fight, and it did not go well. So that can be the Smashers, that can be the Stalkers, that can be the Rippers. So, criminy. So let's see where they start. 2 Smashers at A1 and D4. This feels like it might have been a mistake. 2 Rippers at C1 and B4. At least I've got a cleaving axe. And Mike is pleased that all the S monsters have the same colour card tokens. Yeah, that is definitely what I was thinking when I was picking them. And the Stalkers were at D1 and A4. Wow. If you win the fight, the villagers of the Berg thank you. Okay. 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 So I don't feel like I'm in a great position. That is a lot of enemies. So let's have a look and see what we're dealing with. Actually, it's easier for me to read them off the Atlas, frankly. So the Rippers are health 3. So I'll just quickly set those up. That's not too bad. I can do harm 3 with my Great Axe if I get a 6. They are mobile. Ooh. And on a 6, they will do me an absolute metric fuck ton of damage. They deal +1 harm when they're adjacent to a pack leader. I am just one little orc with a big axe, though. So, the Smashers also have health 3. Interestingly, these are all beasts. I wonder if that is going to be relevant. So they, again, are not going to be hugely difficult to take down in a direct fight. And my cleaving axe will do a point of damage to anything adjacent if I can successfully hit with it. If it starts its turn next to another enemy, +1 for the roll to determine their actions. Bugger. And they are very similar to the Rippers, except not quite as mobile and not quite as damaging. So they feel like slightly lower level opponents. And so the Stalkers are health 2. They're even easier to kill. They're mostly sneak around doing a small amount of damage until they do a leap. Deals harm equal to the number of spaces moved this turn. Okay. So that is going to be one to watch. If I get too far away from the Stalkers, they can jump up to 3 paces towards me and do me a buttload of damage. All movement and targeting is orthogonal, so it's adjacent spaces. And I'm just going to bring up the rule book and just take a quick look at combat, just to remind myself the order we do things in. It's pretty straightforward. I largely remember it's just about getting the order right. 23. I put the rule book on rule 20 as well, because why not? Right. So I set my grid up. First things first, determine enemy actions. So this is going to take a little bit of time, I suspect, because there are 6 bloody enemies. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to roll for the 2 Rippers first, and we'll go top to bottom when I'm determining their actions. So, roll 2 dice. They're both doing the same thing. So they are both... Okay. I had this problem last time as well. They are both going to move 2 spaces towards me and inflict 2 points of damage. Okay. Their attacks are same and adjacent. That's what the range means. So they are both going to try and move into my space. Shamelessly abusing things and abusing diagonal magical attacks. Yes, that is definitely a way forward. However, this is a really cramped environment to be fighting all these monsters in. So let's see what the two stalkers are going to do. Again, top to bottom. 3 and 4, according to my Roll20 on the side there. So 3 for the top. And 4 for the bottom. I'll put on the wrong one. So they are going to move 1 space and inflict harm 1. The advantage is that the stalkers, at any rate, are not going to be able to get adjacent to me unless I move. So that is good. And the smashers. They are starting their turn. They are not starting their turn. Next to another enemy. So I don't need to worry about them doing a boatload of damage just yet. So let's see what they are up to. We have got 6 and 3, apparently. So the one at the top is going to stay where it is, probably battering away at the barricades, doing 5 points of damage. The one at the bottom, however... For fuck's sake. The one at the bottom, however, is going to move 3. 3 is move 2 and inflict harm 2. So it is going to basically try and move into my space and do me a whole lot of damage. So less than ideal. So at this stage, I know what the enemies are going to do. So now I move the enemies and do any non-harm actions. Enemies always move orthogonally, and they always try and move to the closest possible space in their range. Now, I could play silly beggars here, because you can only have 2 people in the same space, but I think that this guy is going to move 2 into my space. Straightforward. The other guy is going to stay where he is. This then will do the 2 stalkers. They are going to move 1 and not a lot else. And the other one is going to also move 1 and not a lot else. And then the rippers are going to move 2. Can't get into my space, but stops adjacent to me. And the one at the top will also move 2 and do some damage. So at the minute, I am being threatened by 2 of the enemy. The smasher is going to do me 2 points of harm, and the ripper is going to do me 2 points of harm. I'm looking at taking 4 points of harm. If I move, I might put myself in further danger. So we do any non-damage stuff at this stage, but there isn't any, so we're okay. So we now determine my actions. I'm going to roll 2 dice and find out what stamina I've got. Okay, 2 5s. Not terrible. It means I can use both of my items. I need to assign one of these dice to each of my pieces of kit. Now I could have them together, but I've got nothing that works on a 10. As far as I can tell, the only time you would add stuff together is if you're using a weapon that's called a versatile weapon. I don't have one. So let's have a look at what my options are. I've got move 1 and block 2 from my shield. Good old reliable shield. And I've also got move 1, harm 3 and cleave from my axe. So I've got move 2, harm 3 and cleave. Cleave is a keyword, and it means it does 1 harm to enemies adjacent to the target. Now, I can move freely through people. And I've got a move of 2 at the moment. And I've got a block of 2 as well. How much damage is that stalker doing? He's doing harm 1. I could run away from the smasher, kill the stalker with my great axe, and do a point of damage to both the smasher and the stalker. I think, with my movement of 2. Alternatively, I could move to this corner, kill one of them and damage the other one, but harm is done simultaneously. So I think we are gonna move 2, ducking and diving between the opponents. Yep, move. Deal harm. Once everyone has moved, it's time to deal harm. For each character, they're dealing harm. Check to see how much and if they're within range. Oh, okay. So that is a good reason not to move to there, because I'm going to take more damage. Because I'm going to be within range of the Stalker. But it's only a point of extra damage. And it gives me some freer movement, I think, which is well worth it. So screw it, I'm going to do it. He's only got 4, has that Stalker, so he's only doing 1 harm anyway. So I'm going to move down to the same space with the Stalker. I'm going to inflict some harm. Any harm that's blocked or avoided is reduced from the total harm I would take. I'm going to take 5 harm, reduced by 3. I'm going to take, reduced by 2 for my shield. I'm taking 3 harm. It's fine. It's only a flesh wound. And then I deal my 3 points of damage. To this fella, which is exactly enough needed to kill him. Bye-bye. And then I deal 1 point of damage to each adjacent enemy with my cleaving axe. Booyah. Half killing the fella I'm on the same space with. And that's the first round of combat. We've fucked up one of the Rippers. We've hurt the Smasher. We've nearly killed the Stalker. And we've still got 3/4 of our health left. I'm counting that as a win. So, we clear the dice off the monsters. I stick my stamina dice back. Haven't needed to use my boots, which will let me move if I get no move. That's odd. Has the screen gone blurry for anybody else? It might just be my tablet. I've got the Twitch on my tablet. Yeah, cool. Excellent. No worries then. So let's start the second round of combat by finding out what our one remaining Ripper is going to do. Our one remaining Ripper has rolled a 1. The Rippers are the one that gets worse if there is a pack leader about. So I'm not too worried about that. He's going to move 2 spaces and do 2 points of damage. As long as I'm savvy, I don't need to worry about that guy at all. So let's see what the Stalkers are doing. So that is 6 and 6. Okay. They are both leaping 3 spaces. So the good news is, as long as I stay where I am, I think that Smasher does no damage. That Stalker will do no damage to me because I'm on top of him. Good stuff. That one, however, is going to move to there and do me 3 points of damage for the move that he's just taken, which is less than ideal. And then we've got Smashers, and if the Smasher is adjacent to another enemy, it would be more dangerous, but neither of them is, thanks to me carefully killing that Ripper. So I will again roll 2 dice, top to bottom, 4 and 5. I'm not just arbitrarily choosing these, by the by. It shows me them in order in the little screen on the right hand side. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, so the 4 on the Smasher, he's going to move 2 and try and attack me. And the 5 on the Smasher, he's going to move 2 and try and attack me. So, we do monster movement. This fella tries to move 2, can't enter the same space as myself and the Stalker because we've already got 2 people there. This fella moves 2 down, stomping towards me around the barricade. This one does a horrendous leap. 1, 2, 3 into position. And the Stalker, the Ripper at the top, moves 2, 2. 1, 2. Scuttles around to there. Can't get at me. Barricade and diagonals. Good stuff. I think I'm taking 3, 5 harm at the moment if I stay where I am. Okay. But it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. Okay. It's not fine. It's very far from fine. I've rolled a 3 and a 1. You'll note that nothing on either the axe or the shield works on a 1. If I can use the 3 and get block 1. Or I can sum the 3 and the 1, get a 4 and assign it to the shield, which is pointless, or to the great axe. Now I can always move 1 because I've got my special boots. But I think it's pretty obvious what I need to do. David's suggesting activating the boots to move, but moving 1 and blocking, there's not a scenario, I don't think, where that helps much. Right, so the boots is no move from weapons this round. So to use the boots, I have to not generate any move. So I can't use it in conjunction with the axe. It's not +1 move. It's 1 move if you otherwise wouldn't move. Yeah. So I think I need to move to here, maybe. But that involves me taking more damage, strangely. The good news is, I think I can kill a bunch of people. The bad news is, I'm going to take 5 harm for doing it, which is going to leave me on 4 health. But I think I can do it. I think I set up the great axe. I don't move, because if I do move to here, can't enter this space. It's got 2 creatures in it, so they're blocking my movement anyway. I could retreat slightly, but that'll put me in range of this smasher, who's going to be doing me 2 harm. Or I stay where I am and suffer 5 harm. So I could move, take significantly less damage, and still get a cleave in, but I'd have to. So where I currently am, I can kill. So if I move into the space to the left, I'm doing 2 damage, and I'm cleaving, so I do an additional point of damage to any adjacent enemies. But if I attack either of the 2 people I can then hit, there's so I could then do 1 point of damage to those 2 if I kill that fella. If I stay where I am, I can kill 2 of them. I can take out the stalker that's hiding behind the smasher, and then splash the damage onto almost everything. I could move into the space with the smasher and not worry about doing any splash damage. But what I'm worried about is I'm then going to get mobbed next round. Also, it's worth noting that my Great Axe's range is adjacent, so I can only hit opponents next to me. I can't hit people in the same place. Well, that is a good point. Only 3 of them will be able to get at me if I'm in that position. So, okay, let's try James's suggestion. I'm going to move 1 space to there. Then we inflict harm simultaneously. This fella is all combobulated because he tried jumping at me when he isn't in a position to do so. This fella is going to do me 2 harm. There's not much I can do about that right now. I am going to hit. Yeah, I'm still going to kill the guy next to me, I think. I'm going to hit this guy for 2 points of damage, and then splash 1 point of damage to the two guys on the far side of him. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Cool. End of the second round of combat. Okay. Taking out two of them, killed one around. That is better than a kick in the teeth. I'm a little worried about this smasher, who's going to be adding 1 because he's next to his buddies. But the good thing about that is if he pushes him to 6, he doesn't move. So let's see what we are doing. We've got 1 Ripper left. The Ripper is doing a 2. The Ripper is moving 2 and harm 2. Okay. The remaining Stalker is doing a 1. That is move 1, harm 1. So he's going to try and close in on me. The damaged Smasher is doing a 5 because he's adjacent to... starts his turn adjacent to another enemy. And the remaining Smasher, the one that I've not hurt yet, is doing a 3. Okay. So, the remaining Smasher is going to move 2, harm 2. The other Smasher's moving 1, harming 1. Oh no, my apologies. The other Smasher is moving 2, harming 2. So I'm going to end up with one of the Smashers in my space. I think. Actually, I'm going to leave this up to chance. 1, 2, I'll move the Rippers. 3, 4, I'll move the Stalkers. 5, 6, I'll move the Smashers. Because it is a bit choke pointy at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to move the Stalker first. The Stalker is doing move 1, harm 1. So he moves into that space. Odds, the Ripper, even the Smashers. Even the Smashers. That Smasher moves up. That Smasher moves into my space. Yep, same with adjacent. And then the Ripper moves 2. Can't get at me. Okay. So let's find out what I'm doing. Okay. A 5 and a 1. A 5 and a 1. So the 5 is move 1, block 2, or move 1, harm 3, cleave. Or I could summon them to 6 and do harm 3 with cleave. Nothing adjacent to me. Why would I want to have the 6 rather than the 5? That is odd. The 6 is worse than the 5. Just a second, let me check something. I'm just going back to the, quickly skimming through the PDF. Let me check that I haven't got an incorrect piece of equipment. Because that does seem odd that the 6 is you don't move. Move 1, harm 3, cleave, or versus harm 3, cleave. That is a very odd choice. I wonder if that is the same on in the quick start that I was using last time. So I don't remember it. I thought it was either... I think the damage... Let's find out. He says, stuttering, resources quick starter. No, it's not that. I'm probably overthinking this. It might well be that the 6 is worse. No, I don't seem to have the cards on me. Oh well, no worries. We'll just treat it as is. So, the 5. The 5 is move 1, harm 3, cleave. It seems obvious what I need to do. I need to get out of dodge to there. Inflict harm 3 and cleave. So. The Smasher is the only person who's going to hit me this round and is doing me 2 harm. I'm just going to have to suck that up. I do 3 damage to the smasher, killing it, and punt out 1 damage to each of the adjacent monsters, killing him stone dead. Probably. Yep, cool. The term adjacent is used to describe any space orthogonal to the current or target space on the grid. It does not include diagonal spaces. Cool. I am okay to kill the 2 guys nearby. Woot! Frog! I might say if I was an unreconstructed orc rather than a valuable member of the community. This little fucker here can't do out. We clear our stamina dice. I've got a good feeling about this. Whoever it was who said we should fight this thing, I think you were probably right. So, let's find out what the Ripper is going to do. The Ripper is going to move 3 and inflict 2 harm. Oh, for goodness sake, Raph. I've just noticed I've just deleted my 5 dice. Great. Egypt. That's why I should copy them instead of moving them across. Yep, so he's on a 5. He's going to do me harm 3. Okay, so that's less than ideal, but he can't kill me. And I'm really rolling poorly tonight. This is why the whole assign use the same weapon twice. It was a good idea not to go for it. So I've got a 2 and a 2. I've got move 2, harm 2, cleave, or block 1. How many hit points has that guy got? He's got 3. I'm going to assign both 2s to my Great Axe and do move 2, harm 2, cleave. So I run away a short distance and then taunt the Ripper as if I am not cowardly hiding in a corner, rather than stand and get further fucked up by the terrible blood-soaked forest maniac. So the Ripper then moves to 5 again. He is going to move 3 and do harm 3 to me. Great. Hopefully I'm going to end up dying because fate is not with me. So I'm going to add the 2 and the 1 together to get my shield in the way as this thing rampages down on me and inflicts 2 more points of damage. Flipping heck. You'd think the townsfolk would join in, wouldn't you? They're probably too busy building a Wicker Man. Right, let's find out what the Ripper is doing. Okay, this time around, the Ripper is doing a 2. The Ripper is going to move 2, harm 2. And let's find out what I'm doing. Remember, it is possible to get worse than a 3. Okay, 4 and 2. 4 and 2. So again, the 2 isn't going to do anything. I could get block 2, and move 1. Block 2, which would block all the damage that he's doing. I could get... right, okay, so that's interesting. So if I had the 4 and the 2 together to get a 6 on the Great Axe, I have to take the harm 3 cleave. I don't get to sum them up and take a lower option. So I would have to use my boots, step to one side. I could kill it, but in the process, I will take 2 points of damage. So the risk is killing it, but being so badly hurt that I can't survive the next fight that I'm in. Resting is at a premium in Rune. But ending the fight means it can't hurt me anymore. What do you think? Kill it and suck up the hit, or block and hope for a good roll next round? The dice have not been on my side this fight, have they? Kill it and don't roll badly again. Okay, I'm adding the 4 and the 2 together in a final desperate blow against the Ripper. My Strider boots allow me to move 1 space even when I don't generate any moves on my weapon. The Ripper does me 2 points of damage. I do the Ripper 3 points of damage. The Ripper dies, and I am left on 1 hit. Okay. But I won the fight. I've won the fight against massive, overwhelming odds through the power of cleaving. Which, if I remember from the Grim Coast, was great right in the middle of the point when I was fighting a solo monster. So we have won that fight. So let's have a look at the Rune Atlas to see what happens. The optional fight. So I mark that fight, but if I rest, the opportunity to fight that fight comes back again. Marking the fight means I've completed an action at a point. So I fill in, I'm halfway through my first pass through the plague clock. I mean, fair enough. I've had a big fight against a load of people attacking a town. If you win the fight, the villagers of the Burg thank you. They offer you a weapon they have been making, one that seems adept at fending off the beasts of the Fellwoods. Gain the Beastbane Blade. Right, I've got a little card for the Beastbane Blade. I just copied these across without particularly reading them. It looks like it is a 2-handed weapon, which brings a whole set of rules all of its own, but more options, which is the important thing. And I get to keep this unless something takes it away from me. So it's now part of my gear. So the Beastbane Blade. The symbol of a stag is pressed into the base of the blade. When turned, the blade rips and tears at flesh it bites. A cruel twist on its origin. So it's a 2-handed weapon. It's a versatile weapon. So what it means is I can use it either 1-handed or 2-handed. And obviously, if I use it 1-handed, I can wield it alongside either my axe or my shield. But if I shift to 2-handed, I can only use it. And if you look at the 2-handed side, it starts at 5 and goes up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. 8 or better. So basically, if I'm using it 2-handed, I'm going to be adding both my dice together. But I think I need to make the decision about whether to use it 1 or 2-handed when I start the round. So I'll just find out. Versatile weapons. At the start of each round, decide whether you're using the weapon with 1 or 2 hands. If you wield a versatile weapon in 1 hand, you have access to both of your equipped weapons. If you wield it in 2 hands, you can't assign stamina dice to your second weapon. It has to be temporarily stowed. And it's too hard to achieve with a single stamina die. So basically, I have picked up a Beastbane Blade. It is a nice 2-handed weapon. It does +1 harm to beasts. Oh, okay. 1-handed, it'll give me move 2, harm 1, move 1, harm 2. So it's much more mobile than the Great Axes. And if I will it 2-handed, I've got to get at least a 5, but I'm also doing a bit of blocking and a fairly significant amount of harm if I can get an 8 or better. So that is a really nice piece of kit. I actually swapped the card sides over, so cunningly I can equip it 1-handed in my left-hand slot and then just slide it across if I have it 2-handed, because I am a design genius. For the moment, however, I am gonna stow it. I'll make a decision. Or am I going to stow it? It actually leaves me with a really interesting choice now, kind of. I can go double DPS. Great axe in one hand, a hand and a half stag sword in the other. Yell, I am a shiny shoeless god of war. And because I have, I think, 1 health left, die instantly at the start of my next fight. So I think, might as well. I think I'm going to swap out my axe for the blade, and we'll see what the story tells us going forward. There's only 2 actions here, and I've taken both of them. So, it's time to leave. I could head back to the sigil, rest, getting all my health back, and then continue to adventure, or I could head straight for the next town. The interesting thing is, if I move back to Hartford, cut through the forest after resting, so 1, 2, 3, 4. By the time I reach whatever this town to the west-east is, I'll have filled in the play clock once. What's going to annoy me is dying in this town next to the river, reappearing at the sigil, and then having to come back through the town. Yeah, screw it. I'm moving to the town at the river. No guts, no glory. If I was sensible, I wouldn't be an adventurer. So what is the point there? That is, oops, Daisy. That is point 8. Okay. Thank you very much, people of the Berg, for the magic beastbane weapon. I wish I had more hands. Let's find out what point 8 has to show us. Hinselton. While not as large as Hartford, the small city of Hinselton acts as a place with formidable power. Its walls are ravaged with claw marks and soaked in blood. Also going to have trouble attracting tourists. Oh! A massive wave of beasts surge towards the city's gates. The city's militia marches out to meet them. That fight is not optional. If I want to explore Hinselton, I will have to fight a whole buttload of monsters, of beasts outside the walls. It looks like it's the same number of monsters, but 3 of them are smashers. There's a massive wall across the top of the battle map. There is difficult terrain scattered around outside it. And I would be facing 3 smashers, 2 rippers and a stalker with 1 hit point. Or I could leave the people inside the city to continue to fight by themselves and go and have a look and see if there's somebody who can heal me living across the river, like a massive coward. Or, of course, I could return to the sigil point and actually heal, but that feels like quitter talk. There's absolutely no way I'm surviving a fight against 6 beasts with 1 hit point left. So I'm going to get a better feel for the lay of the land. I might regret this because I'm assuming all of the settlements can be destroyed when the siege clock is ticked. But I'm going to move on and have a look and see what's going on at 10 in the vague hope that they need... Yes, coward's time, Gary. I'm being a massive coward in the vague hope that whoever lives at point 10 needs some gardening doing, or, one of those fetch quests that one reads about. Outrider camp. Horses ride back and forth in well-orchestrated patrols surrounding this border camp. Riders escort you in. There is a search here. I'm going to do the search. This seems like an excellent place to visit. Search. Gain the Outrider banner. A beleaguered rider hands you a piece of worn cloth. They assure you someone back at Hartford will understand its value. Okay. Okay. And then there's nothing stopping me. I should note that I have the Outrider banner. Given that that hasn't come with a reference to a card, I'm assuming that is one of the boons that it mentioned earlier as being. Oh, that is useless, Andy. One of the boons that might be useful against the king, or it will be something that I can use later. Basically a lock and key or equivalent. Right, cool. And then we'll go to the delve. This delve requires 0.8 not to be lost. No points are lost at the moment. And given I don't think I'm going to be coming all this way again, I'll fill another point and complete delve. Gain 1 use of the Outrider boon. The Outrider boon may be used at any time to reduce the number of segments marked on the siege clock by 1. Okay, so that will give me a little bit longer time to prep for fighting the Rune Lord. I'll use that one. Why not? That is a token left over from when I ran a 13th age game that involved a large number of angry centaurs in an arena. Use once to remove a tick from the siege clock. Well, 20 is all right. I'm reasonably au fait with it at the minute. Excellent, that can sit on there. And that's been an excellent trip to this place. So I'm going to thank the Outriders for their many boons. Move back to 0.8. Mark the play clock. That completes the play clock, which means I tick the first segment on the siege clock. Clear the play clock. And roll a d6. 5.8. Okay. Arse. So my decision to walk past these people has resulted in me arriving back to find their town is gone. I guess that is the price of cowardice. I really hope they didn't have anything important. But what I should do is immediately go and warn 0.9. Their town, not yours. Yes, quite. Okay. I'm going to move down to 0.9. That is another village on the plain further down the river. And tell them the bad news about Ranger's hut. Okay, this is the missing ranger. Along the outskirts of Hinselton sits a lone hut, the home of the Ranger of the Wood. I have just about panicked, but I have realised that my mistake is I have ticked the wrong clock. Phew. There is a situational fight here. If I filled in 2 segments on the siege clock, I have a fight. I have not filled in 2 segments on the siege clock, so I have got here in time. Yet finally the hero this place needs, says Scott. Are you implying that my role in this tale of heroic daring do is to basically go and round up actual heroes? I protected the Burg, thank you. I may have allowed Hinselton to be overrun by beast monsters, but I protected the Burg, and that's what heroes do. So, I'm going to settle in to chat. Thank you for those finger guns, Scott. And that is deeply unfair, James. I didn't barely protect the people of the Berg. I successfully protected the people of the Berg, and that is what mattered. So I will increase my law another point. To 3, which is good. I've got plenty of law now. Law's almost the same as towns. I know I barely survived, whatever. Scribbled notes describing unfamiliar beasts litter the floor. Upon one, the writer describes an unexpected ambush and seeking aid from the mystics to the north. Okay. I want to imagine he means the mystics to the north are here, but I have a really nasty suspicion he means the mystics to the north are here. And I'm going to search as well while I am here, because I don't feel I'm coming back here anytime soon. And I gain the gnarled claw, a unique consumable. Tucked under a pile of bloody clothes is a long black-tipped claw. It is coated in dried blood. Okay. So, unique concealable goes into my pile here. There's a gnarled claw. Okay. No idea what it's for. But I've won a gnarled claw. Hooray! You can't trust Northern Mystics, that is true. Oh, James is suggesting I could use multi-sided tokens for the dice. I could. I just didn't get them set up. I was using a multi-sided token for the realm clock on the Grim Coast because it was just a 4-segment fill-in day-night token thing. This one is a little bit more complicated. But yes, I could certainly use 2-sided tokens. For the moment, however, I'm going to quit the Ranger's hut. No sign of the Ranger. Return to the ruins of Hinselton. Not look too closely at the ruins of Hinselton. And then I have a decision point. I could duck back through the Berg to Hartford and deliver the Outriders banner. See what that gets me. Or I could go back to the Berg via the deep woods. And even as I'm saying that out loud, it feels contraindicated. I think, unless anybody is going to try and urge me to do something very stupid, that I'm going to sneak back and warn the people of the Berg that there's another army of bestial monsters coming. So yes. Yeah, let's do that. Move to 0.7. Yeah, optional fight that I've defeated and a learning action that I've already done. Halfway through the second play clock. Then move back to 0.1. Rest. Incidentally, of course, if I had listened to certain people and taken the use a one weapon twice rune instead of the extra health, I'd have died in that fight with the beasts. So yeah, think on. Fill in a segment for resting. Yay. This is rapidly running out. I should remember, incidentally, that actually my first death isn't the end of the world. I'd forgotten that. Because I've got the rune that I got from the Ruined King, I don't take the death penalty from my first death. So the first time I die, it won't fill in the siege clock. So I should remember that and maybe take more risks, even though that is utterly anathema to my personality. Delve 0.9 or completing the fight at 0.4. Oh. So there's 2 delves that I can do here. A delve is one of the 4 standard action types. They are learn, gain lore and a bit of information about the realm. Search, which is get an item. Fight, which is fuck something up. And delve is basically everything else. They normally have a requirement. I have visited 0.9. So I'm gonna find out. It annoyingly means I'm going to have to fill in another segment on the play clock and find out what the delve is. Gain the city mark, a unique consumable. A medallion of gold with a wolf's head stamped onto it. The mark of the city of Hartford is recognised across the realm and holds great sway over some. Okay. This is reminding me a lot of a choose your own adventure style. Here are a bunch of pieces of gear that you will never find out what they are supposed to be used for. City mark. I've done it in capital letters because I'm very excited by my city mark. And then, buggeration. I've done an entire sequence of the play clock without having achieved very much. Because what I'm about to do is hand over the Outrider's banner. Gain a horse. The horse allows you to move twice before marking a segment of the play clock. Okay. Okay. What do I call the horse? Rover. Lunch. Mark. Mark the horse. Lunch the horse. Rover the horse. Mark the horse. What I can do is, as I use him, I can turn him upside down instead of marking the clock. Roger the horse. Horse mark and city mark. Ah, right, okay, yeah, okay, I see that. Yeah, that's a good suggestion, James. Lunch, I think, was a little unfair, David. Roger is interesting, but I'm going to go with Mark the horse. And then the last thing I can do here is start the fight with the Realm Lord. I'm not doing that right now. I don't feel that I'm quite ready for it. But we've got a horse. But more importantly, I need to mark another mark on the siege clock. So, empty out the play clock. Mark the siege clock. Roll a dice. 4. We have lost 0.7. Now, part of me, obviously, is deeply gutted by the fact that those wonderful people who I met and protected from the beasts have been overwhelmed. Those poor buggers, indeed, poor buggers. But on the other hand, I got all the stuff from down there, so I should make that a bit clearer. I can get rid of one of those segments, and I'm kind of tempted to just knock it back to one segment now, just based on the fact that I saw at the Rangers hut there was potentially an unpleasant fight. Yeah, it was quite smooth. Thank you, Scott. We've all played single-player games before. We don't weep for the people who get overrun after they've given us all of our quest rewards. Can I do it before the ban effect kicks in? I'd have to weigh it up at the time and see what the bad effect is. If it's a you are about to be ambushed by the forces of darkness, I'd feel that was skanky. But a nice thing Rune does. Oh bugger! I had a helmet I was going to wear for this, but it's actually not quite as cold today as it has been. Yes, it says basically you are playing solo, so you can arbite your own rules. Although we know from past experience that sometimes chat has to guilt me into not claiming the magic ring after being kicked off a cliff, if we recall the last game. So I think I would weigh it up on the circumstances. We've had the heating on today madly because I don't want my pipes to freeze solid. So it's not as cold as it had been the last couple of days. It's -7 here at the moment. And I'm a little bit chilly now. So I might put my helmet on shortly. Anyway, let's get back to Fellwoods. We have 2 places we can go. There is a settlement up in the hills, probably a mining settlement. And there is an unknown, dangerous looking shortcut here. And there's some mountains there, which are quite worrying as well. But I think we should stick to the plan. Thank you. James is suggesting that if I don't want my pipes to freeze solid, I should put some pants on. Thank you, James. I think we stick to the plan. We keep going to the towns before they all get overrun by the forces of the Realm Lord. So I'm going to move up there. I'm going to turn my horse upside down, galloping through the trees, Hawk the Slayer style. Keep on the borderlands, border fort, tucked within the foothills along the northern border. This fort has closed itself off from the rest of the world. Skeptical eyes watch you from every wall and tower. Okay, so border fort. We've arrived at a border fort. We have a learn and a delve. Let's do the learn first, as always, to try and get the lay of the land. Put our lore up to 4. It's interesting. I've not seen anything so far that's used lore, but all the lore pieces have felt vaguely like they are setting up quests and things. So let's find out. A massive pyre billows black smoke into the air outside the border fort. Bodies of man and beast intermingle within. Ooh. For a moment, one appears to move, reaching out towards you. Oh, that's just unpleasant. And let's look at the delve. Requires the city mark. I have the city mark, having picked it up for successfully visiting the ranger. Gain 1 use of the militia boon. The militia may be used as a boon during the final fight against the Rune Lord, or be used at any time to revert a point so that it is no longer lost. The stamp of Hartford is enough to interest a few of the soldiers willing to bring the fight to the beasts. So, okay. Okay. What looks like a good militia symbol. I don't have a lot of... I don't have much. The ranger's still missing. I didn't actually find the ranger. I found the notes that he left behind about weird beasts and things. So in many ways, he was useful by not being present. Oh, right, I forgot what it was called. Militia boon. Use in final fight, or use to revert a point so it is no longer lost. So I can use that potentially to find out what the heck was going on in Hinseltown, should I find myself back there. I suppose technically I ought to dash down and go and help Hinseltown, but I'm in the north, so you know, if we find ourselves going back that way, obviously I will help Hinseltown. But for now, I want to try and find out if these mystics to the north are actually useful. So I'll return my horse to the upright position. moving to point 3 up into the mountains. And that means I have to do the clock. But the horse is helping. The horse is really helping. I can move around without causing trouble. So let's look at point 3. Quarry. The mines appear abandoned as though the workers had left in a hasty retreat. Snarls of beasts echo in the quarry below. The beasts have swarmed the quarry. If they can be pushed back, the valuable stone may help in the coming fight. Having remembered that I have the Deathless rune still going for me, I am prepared to risk this fight. So let's have a look. What have we got? Let's get the fight going. Terrain, permanent, A1 to A4. Oh, okay. This is another confined space. I suspect I'm fighting on the very lip of the quarry. Where am I? I am in B4. B4. And then we have 2 smashers and a stalker. Oh, okay. So we have I see, I've missed a difficult terrain. A smasher at B2 and a smasher at C2. I should have set these up on the defaults, but never mind. And a stalker at C1. All right. Oh, right. It's A1 to A4. So it's down that side. So I'm, again, on the edge of the collapsing, the edge of the cliff. A stalker at C1. These stalkers have only got 2 health. Excellent. And I've got difficult terrain. I've got 4 lots of difficult terrain at B2. Okay. C3. D1. And D4. Yeah. David just pointed out what I had done wrong there. Now, difficult terrain. Anybody standing in difficult terrain, the change to the rules does -1 damage. And I get a benefit if I defeat them. So let's have a look then. So we've got the stalker. That's the leaping guy again, and we've got the smashers. If they start their turn adjacent to another enemy, they get +1. So I'm going to have to roll these 2 separately, I think. So let's get started with the smasher. Smasher on the left. Straight in with the 6. Don't mess about. Great. Where are these 6s when I needed them? Smasher on the right gets +1. Cocked die on a virtual tabletop is something special, though. So that counts as a 3 because he's adjacent to somebody. And the stalker has a 5. So smasher on the left is staying where he is and doing a fuck ton of damage. The smasher on the right with a 3 is moving forward 2 and doing harm 2. So I'm going to move him forward 2. He's flanking me and doing harm 2. And the stalker has a 5, so he's doing a move 3 leap. Does he leap in a straight line, do you think, or does he end up here? It's much more advantageous for me if he ends up here, I think. But I'm going to roll it. 1 to 3, he'll jump diagonally and end up in that space. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6, he'll end up in that space. So let's have a look to see where he ends his turn. 1, 2, 3, bugger. He leaps down to here. That is his move, and he's going to be doing 3 damage. So at the minute, I am looking to take 5 points of damage on the edge of this cliff. So let's roll 2 dice. Oh, fuck off. A 5 and a 1. Oops. A 5 and a 1. So my choices are move 1, block 2, or move 1, harm 2. And my weapon is adjacent only. So, moving 1, I won't be able to hurt anybody. So basically, it's stay where I am. Or move 1 and potentially block all the damage that I'm going to take. Now, I could just kill the Ripper and take the damage, the 2 damage from the Smasher to the side of me. And it does, ooh. It does +1 harm to beasts. And the Stalkers and the Smashers are both beasts. I could move north and take significantly more damage. But that does feel like a bad idea, James. You're right. You know, I'm tempted to stay where I am, wield the Beastbane Blade, do 3 harm to the Smasher to the side of me, and just take the 3 harm from the Stalker. But the Smashers only do 2 points of damage a time. I think I stay where I am, and then we. Oh no! Wait! I'm being an idiot. Harm is simultaneous. Of course it is. I think I move in on the Smasher to the right and block with my shield, taking no damage, rather than staying where I am, taking 5 damage, but killing one of them. I've got to start rolling better soon, haven't I? What do we think? Yeah. I'm moving there, having put my 6 into shield, move 1, block 2. The Smasher does me 2 points of damage. I block it on the shield. The other 2 can't get a hit. Might regret that. Anyway, the Smasher at the top, who is next to a buddy, gets a 4. The Stalker, oh no, leaps again. And the Smasher whose space I'm in gets a 6. Okay. So the Smasher whose space I'm in is staying where he is. I forgot to change my weapon to 2-handed bollocks. The Stalker is leaping a space and doing me 1 point of damage. I'd really like the Stalker to leap into the difficult terrain and do me 1 point of damage, but I think that would be taking the piss a little bit. So he will jump down 1 and take a point of damage. And do 1 less damage. Do the same. If he's in a difficult terrain, it's 1 less. And the Smasher at the top moves 2, trying to get as close to me as possible, and does harm 2. So he ends up in the difficult terrain, which means he's only going to do harm 1. But at the minute, I am looking at taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 points of harm. Okay. See what we got. I might start rolling my dice separately. So we've got a 6. I think I've rolled a 1 every round. A 6 and a 1. So I'm looking at move 1, block 2, or move 1, harm 2. And the one I can't get away from is the one who's doing 5 points of damage. I think I have to move and block. I think. But block, I can't win a fight by blocking. But if I move one, I'm going to take 5 points of damage and do 2 damage, which isn't enough to kill the smasher. Or I'd need to move into there, which will mean I take 6 points of damage and kill the smasher. I think I have to move 1, block 2 by putting the 6 on the shield, and then take 3 points of damage. Fuck. It's going to be ironic if these 3 kill me. I can't win a fight rolling 1s. No, that is true. I wonder if it's worth going to the Beastbane Blade Versatile. So that has a minimum of 5, which would give me move 1, harm 1, block 2. That'd be harm 2 against these guys. The harm 3 and the block 1, harm 5, I would still be able to move thanks to my boots. I have a real horrible feeling that these guys are going to kill me, but let's try. Let's try using the blade two-handed and see how that works. Because at the minute, I'm just using my shield to block and extending the fight. So let's go with it. Unfortunately, both of the smashers are adjacent to allies now. So let's look and see what the Stalker's doing. Okay, so the Stalker has finally rolled a 1. Excuse me. And that means that he is moving 1, harming 1. Fine. The bottom fella, roll a dice and add 1. He's got a 3. He is moving 2, harming 2. And the bloke above him has got a 4. Which means he is also moving 2, harming 2. So they are going to get into my face. So, which one of the smashers moves first matters. So I'm going to roll a dice for evens will be the top guy, odds will be the bottom guy. Odds is the bottom guy. He moves 2 into my space because he can. I'm going to roll a dice to see which space this fella moves into. Odds is here, evens is here. Twat. And then the Stalker moves up. So I'm currently taking 5 harm. Hooray! So let's roll my 2 dice and see how it goes. Right, I'm going to quickly check the rulebook for versatile weapons. So it says, if you decide to wield a versatile weapon in 2 hands, you can't assign stamina dice to your second equipped weapon. It has to be temporarily stowed. Here we go. So my question is, can I use the one-handed weapon option, or do I have to use the two-handed weapon? Two different cards, it says. So I think that it is, yeah, that is fair. I can't use, yeah, thank you, James, for the laughing. So I think I am absolutely screwed by that. I can move 1 because I have my Strider boots. I'm moving to there with my strider boots. I'm then taking 3 points of damage. 1 from the 2 points of damage. Yes. This fella, the smasher, even though we're normally doing harm 2, so I'm doing harm 1 because he's on difficult terrain. I had forgotten that. Excellent. So I've taken 2 points of damage. My luck has got to shift soon. Surely. Surely. This is the joy of Roll20. This is like a Clive's Ranger, in fact, from 13th Age. Anyway, so start the next round. This Stalker gets a 4. He's going to move 1, harm 1. The bottom fella is getting a +1. He is on a 5, so he's doing move 2, harm 2. And the top guy is also on +1. He's also on a 5, so he's doing move 2, attack 2. Now, I have forgotten to change out of two-handed weapon stance. So let's have a look. This fella isn't going to move because there's no way he can move to. He's already at minimum range. This fella is going to move across so he can threaten me, and the Stalker's not going to do any attacking. So at the minute, all things being equal, I am taking another 5 harm. Okay. This is a little more like it. 5 and 3 is 8. 8 is block 1, harm 6. My boots will allow me to move 1. What? Use the 5 for move 1, harm 1, block 2. That's interesting. I think it works out the same, though. So I would move into the space next to me, which I'm going to do anyway because I've got the boots. The Stalker's only doing me 1 point of damage. Which I'll block with the block 1. And then, yeah, so boots. I use my boots to move 1 to there. I'm using the flipping 8 because I just want to lay into this thing with triple the amount of damage it takes to kill it. It does me 1 point of damage, which I block with my mighty blade, and then I cleave the little prick into 2 pieces. And these two stand around looking like daft twats. I think the tide is turning, he says, confidently. Okay, so do I stay in two-handed blade mode? Yeah, screw it. Let's just kill these guys. I need a 7 to do 3 harm, which is enough to kill one of them. The irony is I can't kill them with the 5 and 6. I'm wishing I'd stayed with my great axe, frankly. But let's stay with that. So let's start with the top guy. Isn't adding +1. Has got a 1. And the right-hand guy isn't adding +1. Has a 1. They are both moving 1 and harming 1. So I think we will end up in this scenario. Okay, 2 dice. Raw! Is what I'm saying at this point. So I'm doing block 1, harm 5. 6. Block 1, harm 6. They are both doing harm 1. The net result is that I block 1 of the points of damage. I take 1 of the points of damage. And then I do 6 points of damage to this arsehole. Yeah, screw you. Everything's coming up nameless orc. Okay, I think we've got them on the run. There's only 1 left, so. Yeah. It's adjacent only. So he's doing a 5, which is the move 2, harm 2 move that we've seen before. So he moves into my space. And then I roll 2 dice, getting double 5s, which I will use to get 10 for block 1, harm 5. I will use my boots to move a space, block 1 of the 2 points of damage he's planning to do to me, and then do him 6 motherfucking points of damage. Completing the fight, ticking the play clock, and I suspect pausing, like every adventurer, to make myself a smasher skin cloak out of one of the smashers. Okay. Let's find out what the fight gets me. If the Engrave wins the fight, they receive the Reinforced Walls boon for the final fight against the Rune Lord. So there was a point to doing all of that. It's given me an actual boon. Actually, that is the silly way to do it. Using final fight. Reinforced boon. I've got 3 boons for the final fight now, potentially. I am going to step AFK for a couple of moments. I advise everybody else to do the same. And then I will be back. We've got 3 more points to explore. We could potentially head back and rescue this village. We're halfway through the third tick through the play clock. I think I'm going to go and visit the Mystics and then make a decision about whether we explore the deep woods and try and liberate the town. I don't want the siege clock to get too far along because I'm worried it's going to make the Realm Lord more powerful. When I finally meet him, I think there's probably a trade-off between how long you spend preparing and how powerful the Realm Lord is at the end. There's a search here. So, we can do the search. Going to have to be careful coming back this way, incidentally. Because if I reset the fights, I'll need to fight potentially. Oh no, I can walk past them. Good point. Search. Gain a beast bell. 1 use. When used during combat, all beasts skip their next turn. Ringing the bell cracks it. And with that, a howl that can curb even the most terrifying beasts of the woods. Okay. Let's find a beast bell. I almost certainly have a bell somewhere, but actually let's use the murder bird, which was a great encounter. I need to remember I've got that, so I will. Put that somewhere I can actually spot it. Right, so we are coming dangerously close to filling in the 3rd siege clock point, but we're also getting quite close to these northern mystics. So, if somebody's got some coconut noises they could do, we will thunder from the quarry through the plains to point 4. Rangers rest. The cracks and pops of a dwindling fire bounce off of the trees, lighting a clearing ahead. A lone figure sits, heaving. There is a fight here. Yeah, screw it. Crawling on first and all fours, a hooded figure stands slowly before you, their bones and joints popping with the fire. Blood drips from their hands. So this is the Ranger then, is it? Yep, Ranger of the Wood at B1. He's a unique. I'll deal with him in a second. A1, A4, D1, D4. So trees all around us, I reckon. And difficult terrain at B2, B3, C2, C3. I start at C4. And the Ranger of the Wood, a unique opponent, starts at B1. So I need a Ranger. Who is in the process of transforming into something terrible. Ah, screw it. Let's do this. I suspect I might regret this, given that this is a unique encounter. Where was he? He was at B1, deep in the difficult terrain. So let's have a look. The Ranger of the Wood. Matted fur and broken claws mark the beginning of a cruel transformation of this once proud hunter. Oh, no, James. I'll probably stick the video on YouTube at some point if you want to find out how it all ends. In tears, almost certainly. But I think I'm going to be finishing up in half an hour anyway. It's gone on a little bit longer than I expected. And maybe finish it off on Thursday. Maybe do another round at the same time, depending how long this takes. So, he's been cursed, clearly. Probably by the Rune Lord. And this feels like it might be a climactic battle. He is health 7. He's unique, which means that if I can defeat him, this fight won't repop. He's got a same and adjacent attack. And he does quite a few things. Looks like he moves around and hurts people. He's got blocking ability. Oh, and he's got advantage in combat. I'm going to stick with the Beastbane Blade, I guess. Yeah, it's a unique opponent. I might as well. Ooh, I could switch to double melee. No. Let's stick with the shield. So the Ranger of the Wood is going to try and move into the same space as me and tear me apart with his werewolf abilities. And I'm going to do my level best to make sure that that does not happen. He is not a beast, incidentally. He has no qualities other than unique. So let's find out what he's doing. I'll roll my 2 dice properly in a minute. I've rolled a 4 and a 1, so he's doing a 4. He is moving 2, doing harm 3 and block 1. He can't get into melee range with me. So he will move to get as close as possible. He's also doing block 1. So any damage I do to him is going to be reduced. I'm going to go into versatile mode. And get a 3 and a 2. Which gives me a total of 5. Move 1, harm 1, block 2. He's doing harm 3 and block 1. So if I move, he'll do me a point of damage and I'll achieve nothing. So I think I'm just going to have to wait and face his charge, frankly. My dice have not been on my side tonight. That's another reason to break it shortly, probably after this fight. So let's try him again. He rolls 2 dice, getting a 6 and a 4. Here's a 6. Move 3, harm 4. So he ends up in the same space as me. I am switching to one-handed. Oh, shit. I'm supposed to say at the start of the round. Bollocks. Oh, well. I'm going to have to remember this in future. This two-handed weapon malarkey is a lot of hassle. So that is a 3 and a 3. So I've managed a 6. Move 1, harm 1, block 2. So I move 1. I move 1. Getting out of the way. He does me harm 4, of which I managed to block 2 with my sword. I do him harm 1, which he does not block. So, he's on 6 hits, and I'm on 3 hits. God damn. Right, now I can switch to one-handed stance. Rah! Goes the werewolf, scenting the blood in the water. He has a 5. That is move 1, harm 2, block 2. So he's defending himself quite effectively and he's going to badly injure me. I will roll 2 dice. Getting a 6 and a 2. Flipping heck. So I've got 2 move. I've also got... I've got a move, bollocks. Yeah, that 2 is useless to me. So I might as well just put that back down there. So I've got a 6. I can do move 1, harm 2. Or move 1, block 2. And he's moving, isn't he? My error. So he's actually moved into my space. So no matter where I move, he's going to hurt me. And he's going to do me 2 points of damage and block 2. So actually, I'm better off assigning it to the shield. Do I take refuge in the difficult terrain? I don't think... I mean, do I? Yes, because I can duck out of the difficult terrain. I block 2, and he does me 2 points of damage with his terrible claws. Yeah, okay. So it's stalemating at the moment. It's all about kiting. He rolls a 2 and a 3, giving him a 3. A 3 is move 2, harm 3, block 1. So interestingly, low and high are both bad for me. So he's doing harm 3, block 1, move 2. He moves into my space though, because he'll always try and get to the closest range he can. That's good for me because he's now in the difficult terrain. I might be able to use this to my advantage. 5 and 1. So I'm going to move 1. Ooh, move both of us. Oh no. I'm going to move 1 with my 3 remaining hit points. So he'll kill me unless I block. No, because he's -1 damage. Because he's in the difficult terrain. That's right. So actually, screw it. He does me... He's at -1. So he does me 2 harm. Which I could completely block with my shield. I'm going to completely block it with my shield, I think. I'm just desperately holding out for a good roll. Except he's now going to move out of the difficult terrain. So I should have... No. Yeah, I should have moved that way if I'm feeling defensive. That's right, yes. Okay. I'm going to stay in one-handed and shield mode. No, I'm going to shift to two-handed mode and hope for the best. He's rolled a 1 and a 5, so that gives him a 5. That means he is moving 1, harm 2, block 2. But because he's in the difficult terrain still, that will be harm 1. I roll 2 dice, getting a 3 and a 4. which is a 7, which is going to be harm 3. I'm going to use my boots to move 1. He does me harm 2, knocked down to 1 because he's in difficult terrain. And I do him harm 3 because I'm not in difficult terrain. So I'm being able to fuck him up with the two-handed weapon at the moment, as long as I can keep him in the difficult terrain. And I can't keep him in the difficult terrain this round if he moves. So, and he's going to move. All of his stuff is moves of one type or another. So I need to either get a really good block. What happens if we simultaneously kill one another? He's a unique, so I would still win the fight. Yeah, he blocks. That's a very good point from Dave. The two-hander gives me a slight advantage if I can get that harm 5. Yeah. So you reckon stay two-handed and just pray? His minimum damage is 2. I have 2 hit points left. I can't take the damage from him. The only thing I could do is arrange for us both to die simultaneously. Unless I shift to one-hander, roll well, and move 2 spaces. I can't see a way that I'll survive otherwise. I need to trigger both, either the move 2 on the one-handed weapon or both move 1s. So I'm going to shift to one-handed. I think that's the right way to go. I've done a bunch of damage and now I need to maneuver him back into position. I can't get out of range. Yes, I can, because he's almost certainly going to move in my space. I'm going one-hand and shield. He's got a 3. That means he moves into my space, planning to do me 3 points of harm. Everything comes down to this last dice roll. Now we've actually got some choices. 5 and 3. He's doing me 3 harm at the moment. I have to move to be able to attack him. I can do either move 1, block 2, and move 2, harm 1. Or I can do move 1, harm 2, and block 1. Block 1, he'll kill me. So if I'm going to stay, I have to do the block 2, and he's still going to do me a chunk of damage. So I think I want to move away from him. I think. Lure him back into the difficult terrain. Yes, that is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to assign the 5 to the shield and the 3 to the beasted blade. I can move 3 spaces. I'm going to move 2 spaces to there. He's not adjacent to me anymore. He can't do me any damage. This is interesting. The difficult terrain is actually, it feels more tactical now that it's doing -1 damage instead of can't move through it. So I think I now want to shift to the two-handed weapon, in the vague hope of doing enough damage and that the -1 damage from being in terrain will keep him busy. So let's try it. He gets a 4. That means that he moves 2, doing harm 3 and block 1. Fuck. I get a 10. Block 1, harm 5. I move 1 space thanks to my boots. He does me harm 2, which I reduce to harm 1 because I am blocking. He's in difficult terrain, so -1 damage. I do him harm 5, and the crowd goes wild. Fuck you! I thought he was going to kill me there. I really did. His favourite enemy was probably slimes, which is why he wasn't doing so well there. Oh man, that roll twice and take the highest is a powerful. Is a powerful whatever. So let's see what we get for beating him. When defeated, you find a healing tincture. 1 use, recover 3 health during combat or 4 during exploration. Okay, so that's not the most exciting thing in the world. But I noticed that they've changed that the healing potions have changed. You can use them in combat now. You just get less back for them. Right. Okay. Okay. The terrain really helped there. I thought you were going to bed. Oh no, it was James going to bed. Yes, the terrain really helped there. Being able to use that difficult terrain up at the top to duck in and out of the bushes and things was really nice. I was initially a little skeptical about the change to make difficult terrain be about doing less damage, but it impacts the monster and me, and so I was able to make use of that. It was really quite nice. Yeah, I liked that. That was good. So I am gonna move. I'll say some sad words about the poor ranger. I just want to get to the Mystics of the North before I call it a night. And we are going to visit point 5 and find out what is there. The Solemn Order. The Solemn Order of Mystics occupy a tower hidden deep in the Fellwoods. They have a reputation of healing the most serious, curious of diseases. Okay. My choices are Search, gain a feral ward that lets me skip a situational fight. Search, gain a tincture, 1 use, combat only, heal 5 harm instantly, but roll 1 fewer stamina dice on your next roll. Nice. The fights will be so much easier once you get the Rivers of Blood and spec properly. Yeah, right. Shoot first, indeed. Right. So those are both really nice. I am very close to ticking up my 3rd siege clock, however, so I might need to pick these carefully because point 5 is one of the points that that could end up being destroyed. I have a delve if I've killed the Ranger of the Wood and the siege clock has fewer than 4 segments, and the Solemn Order, a delve that requires the Gnarled Claw. I've not read what they do. I'm going to do the delves. I'm going to do Killed the Ranger of the Wood, given I've just done it. The siege clock has fewer than 4 segments. Increase stamina +1 while in this realm. Reduce maximum stamina -1. Nice. So that will let me roll 3 dice in combat. The Beast Blood transformation is both miraculous and heretical. After months of failed attempts, it was found that half-turned blood was the key. So basically, I think I've been given combat drugs. My maximum health goes down by 1. It says maximum health, not current health. I might do myself up a little thing for Beast Boon. Let's make that red. Make that nice big 3. Ooh. Yeah, it's way too big. What? Oh, I've accidentally put it to 300, that's why. I mean, okay, it is an important boon, but it's not 300, font 300 important. Okay, so I can barely see that. I'll sort that out later. Stamina 3 while I'm in this. A Bloodborne homage, says Dave. It could be. As you know, the game is based on sort of like Souls-like stuff. I've not played Bloodborne, so I can't be certain. But that is really nice. Having 3 stamina. And let's hang over the Gnarled Claw as well. And that completes the plague clock. So, Delve requires you to kill the range of the wood and for the siege clock to have fewer than 4 segments. I've done that one. Requires the gnarled claw and law 3 or plus. I have got that. Gain the mystic boon for the final fight against the Rune Lord. After an agonising amount of debate, the evidence brought forth settled the matter. The Solemn Order agrees to send a healer to the city. So, mystic boon. So I'm assuming that the reason it says, do the setup for the battle sort of thing, is that all these boons will have different effects on the final battle, either making it easier or more likely just making it less hard. So we tick up the siege clock to 3. And I roll a d6 to see where it's about to be devastated. I have rolled 5, so it is So it is 0.8, which is already devastated and was the first one to go. So repeat roll again. So roll a 2. It is 0.5 that is destroyed. Oh, crap. It's the Solemn Order. While I'm here, it's being destroyed. Crap. I could use the militia boon to unfuck this point so that I can complete gathering resources here. But that will mean I won't be able to visit the city. So that is the question. Do I set up do I protect the mystic village with the mystics with the militia so I can get the healing boons? Or do I use it on the city that I didn't explore, that had the big... I have what I need from them, but that healing potion could be the difference between winning and losing. I only get 1 try at the Realm Lord ever with this character, that being one of the realm rules. I think I need to use the mystic boon. I think I'm going to have to, the militia boon, I'm going to have to hope that I have... Is it gone? I'll be giving up something I can use in the final. I do get the sleep to full and have a potion. That is true. The potion only restores me 3. The potion I can get from these people will give me 5 in combat. That is a big advantage. Plus, I know if I want to help these people, I'm going to have to do another fight. But you're right. No, you're right. I need to focus on... I need to focus on the important thing, which is defeating the Realm Lord. So, we're going to call it there because it's just gone 11 o'clock at night. I've had a lot of fun this evening. And even if we don't win, I've still got a new exciting weapon to carry around with me. It was really nice to see everybody who joined me this evening. Have a good night, everybody. And if you're interested in the game, you can find it on itch. If you just search for Rune or Gila Games. All right, I'll see you later. Bye-bye!
Bants or bullying, we're playing a game called Bants or bullying, it's rarely bants, it's usually bullying.